Do I think that we shall ever generate that 100 billion? That is a dream. That is a dream.
Climate finance provided by developed countries to developing countries to support their efforts to address climate change and its impact was one of the main issues that was discussed during the COP26. It's generally agreed that an existing target to provide $100 billion climate finance a year has been missed.
African countries and indeed the global south, we are demanding for $100 billion. Of course, failure to release those funds, Africa, vulnerable as it were in almost all aspects of human development endeavors, including especially agriculture and health, Africa will be hit hardest.
We all understand what is going on, and as Africa we can come together and say this is why this has to come, and they can't say no, because if it's not just one country speaking but a lot of countries speaking with one voice, I don't think it's going to be hard to say no to such a thing.
Climate change activists have therefore called for self-financing of climate change and are urging government to take use of environmental levy from consolidated fund as part of means to formulate a pool of funds meant for climate change mitigation.
Because of the war in Ukraine. So it is a dream that we shall ever realize these funds. That's why I'm saying organically, internally, we can be that innovative to generate, to look out at other sources of funding, including, for example, committing our politicians to thinking into how we can make a pool, including, for example, investing into ventures which can generate money. Then this money is utilized in mitigating climate change related things. There is what we call an environmental levy. I think you've heard of it. That environmental levy goes into the National Consolidated Fund. But if it's high time, I think we prioritized it, that we go to this environmental levy and we allocate it specifically for climate change related activities.
Have agreed to disperse. What has failed is implementation. But that doesn't mean money is not moving. And that is why Africa needs to be very well positioned. Because we are talking about developed countries giving 100 billion per year and accelerating that, we are talking about their own decision to give aid. That is very hard. But there is money that is negotiated and provided on national levels and international levels, like the Adaptation Fund.
Green Africa Youth Organization Uganda Country Director Bet Osei Busu, while on Zoom, says that Uganda, similar to other sub-Saharan African, faces the impacts of climate change. Notwithstanding, youth are progressively demonstrating their leadership in tackling the climate crisis. However, they possess limited resources and capacity to do so separately. According to Margaret Ephraim, Assistant Global Coordinator from Ghana, there is a need for capacity building towards realizing carbon market framework in a bid to combat climate change financing gap.
So as the youth, one of the things we are doing is ensure that there's capacity building done. So most people are not aware of what is going on. So in Ghana, we had a carbon market framework, and we had the youth going through some sort of capacity building for them to understand. And I believe even here, not everyone knows even the climate finance you're talking about and the gaps. So one thing we as the Youth Climate Council in trying to making sure that we bridge that gap, one, making sure every youth understands even these gaps, because then you cannot approach a political stakeholder bringing your input if you're not aware of what is going on. So you need to build your capacity. So we are, partnering with other stakeholders who are very much in known of these gaps, training the youth here so they understand whatever is going on.
Uganda and many developing countries expressed dissatisfaction with the way finance is being provided, including the large percentage coming as loans, increasing the debt burden in already debt-distressed countries. Although many least developed countries like Uganda have contributed less to the climate change crisis, they are the most affected by its effects. Uganda now needs approximately $28.1 billion to implement her updated nationally determinant contribution, and out of this, government is expected to meet 15% to support the implementation of the non-conditional measures and actions. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.